Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We should be live. How's everybody feeling today? Getting ready to go ahead and get this thing started. I see we should be live in the flesh. Hopefully, everybody's feeling well. Another day, another opportunity, man. So excited for tonight's session. Hopefully, everybody is feeling great out there today. We have started officially, so everyone should be able to hear and see pretty much clearly. Yep. Hopefully, everyone is feeling well. We are live. So drop where you're listening to in the chat, where you're listening from tonight. Go ahead and drop that in the chat for me. Give everybody a second to allow them to do that. We are live. Perfect. 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 So we will have some time for questions tonight. I did let everybody know we were live here on the tube. So we'll jump right into this thing and pretty much break down. Today was an action-packed day. If you read the title, you would have seen Trump is trumping again, right? So keyword Trump is trumping. So we do have Trump back to his good old ways. Tariff, man. Everyone drop in tariff in the chat. Put that word tariff in the chat. Tariff, tariff, tariff. Everyone drop that in. Tariff, tariff, tariff. Tariff man is back. So today was pretty much action packed because we saw once again Trump is able to manipulate the market. We're going to talk about ways that you can actually benefit from, the tariff situation. A lot of times, people do get emotional about when we start speaking about tariffs. So the important conversation really for us tonight is going to be for us to actually break down realistically how to navigate this market. Is the stock market, the question also is the stock market ready to is the stock market ready to crack? That's one of the main questions that we do have is the stock market ready to crack? Right? We ran hot. I mean, we ran all the way to the upside, right? We ran hot. And a lot of us have done, very well. We've seen a lot of different investments, ride sky high. So to me, this is definitely, like I said, a time where we sit back and kind of we do reflect, on where we're at here at this point in time. So it's been, like I said, action packed nonstop. Tariff man is back busy, but how do you go ahead and actually go ahead and benefit from Tariff Man? So shout out to all of our number one supporters, right? So we got Jay Monty. Also, we have Miss Ava. So we appreciate that. Shout out to our top supporters. Continue to post your comments so you guys will continue to pop up here. Number one, Ava B. We do as well have the only, the lonely. Let me see. I can't see the rest of that name. And then we also do have Jay Monty at number two. So continue to post your comments here. Let me go ahead and let's see. Go ahead and share my screen with you guys, my entire screen. And we're gonna get active here. So I'm on X right now. So let's go to Walter Bloomberg, our good friend Walter Bloomberg today. Trump is all over the place. I mean, this guy, he's been running his mouth since about maybe 12 p.m. This afternoon. You can see it started right here. Right here is about 7 hours ago now. Trump sends a letter to Japan of a 25% tariff. Also sent a letter to Korea with a 25% tariff as well. You also seen here that the U.S. will not impose a 10% tariff against BRICS members immediately if any anti-American policy actions are taken. White House, 12 other countries to receive trade letters. Trump to sign now. Trump to sign action today, delaying the tariffs until August 1st. So originally the tariffs were actually supposed to take back effect. Remember, we had a 90-day pause. If you guys remember, back in April, before these 3 months, right? You guys remember these 3 months. If these 3 months have been beautiful for you, you've been making a lot of money. We know 3 months ago we were in a position where the market was significantly down, right? Where we saw once again a credible amount of movement to the downside and at a fast pace. A lot of people were nervous, right? There were a lot of people that were actually very nervous. And one of the things that took place that kicked the market back to the upside was that Trump on April 9th, he signed in a 90-day delay, right? A 90-day delay on the tariffs, right? So the tariffs would be paused. So that July 9th was coming up, which would be Wednesday, right? Wednesday, July 9th would mark that 90th day where those tariffs would have taken effect. So we want to speak about tonight Trump trumping. He also put 30% tariff on South Africa, right? Trump also said he is, going to put it on Bangladesh, pretty much a lot of these African companies, as well as Asian, right? So we've seen across the board, African and Asia got hit with a plethora of tariffs today. Right? So tariff for you, tariff for you, tariff for you, tariff for you. That was really his MO today. And what I'll say about that is eventually he's going to delay, even if they don't come to an agreement on August 1st, he is going to delay things, right? He is going to push things back and he's going to delay it. That's what he does. He gets the market riled up, gets you talking about him, and then he delays it again, right? So that's his MO. That's what he's going to do. He's done it, like I said, time and time again, where he continues to, always try to keep you on your toes, right? Essentially, is that's exactly what he's doing, is attempting to just keep you on your toes. So can everyone hear and see? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, perfect. Everybody should be able to hear. I know some people. Okay, we back. I know some people said we paused for a second. So everybody, like I said, should be able to hear and see. So we'll tell everybody to come back on. And yeah, they get paused for a second. Not sure what happened there, but I think everybody should be good for now. Yep, we should be good. Okay, cool. Everyone says we're good. I'm getting a lot of messages saying we are good. All right, perfect here. So you share this with everybody again. I know some people backed out and should actually go ahead and be able to actually hear. So if you can, everybody should be good. We'll share this. We'll give everybody like 20 seconds to come back in and we'll finish up. Mm, 20 seconds. Yep, we should be good now. All right, perfect. We're going to continue. So let's do this. So we were speaking about Uber when I got cut off. So everyone should have heard my thoughts on Uber when I got cut off. What I was highlighting was is that by essentially what I said on the watch list is that we would actually go ahead and be up about 5%, right? We would be up on Uber about 5% by 10:30, right? During the session. So on ticker Uber, if we look at today's session, just going into showing you guys with Uber, we're going to show it, knock it down here within the 5 minute frame. So already by 10 a.m. today, right? 10:30, 10 a.m., we were already at 96, right? So Uber went up today, had a nice movement upward. Went up in totality about 3 point by around 10:30 a.m. was up about 3.6%. So didn't quite get to that 5% mark, but got close. Had a strong breakout over this $93 range. So it was pretty strong here. Price broke over this and broke out of this bull flag, was some solid action. So to me, when you do see these moves here upward at a very fast pace, this is that macro level type breakout. So we got a lot of things trending upward here. Next thing I want to talk to is about, this is one that we spoke on a tube a couple weeks ago, but we're continuing to highlight Snowflake. Now, Snowflake actually had a decent day today, funny enough, right? Even though the market was down, I like when I do see a ticker up on a down day, right? Because that means that there was some relative strength. I want everyone to put that word in the chat. Relative strength. Relative strength. I want you to put that word in the chat. Relative strength. All right. I want you guys to put that word in the chat. Relative strength. So when the market is red and the ticker is green, that means that there was some relative strength to bring that name upward. So when looking here at this specific name, I am very, like I said, very, very, very bullish on Snowflake. So I want to point out something to us with ticker Snow is this 230.49 level. That's going to be next. I don't know if Snow, maybe if the market is green tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if the market can actually stay green. I wouldn't be surprised for Snow to start to go take out this 230 level. Full disclosure, we are in October 17th call options on ticker Snowflake. So we are in October 17th call options on ticker Snow. We are looking for targets of 237 as well as 246 and 250. So that has been our thoughts on ticker Snow. We are long and bullish there, right? So very bullish on ticker Snow. Would like to see some more movement upside. Now let's break down a couple of things, right? Market is hot. So we've been running. You take a look here at the SPY. Today we came right off of this 626.27. But where did we end up bouncing at? Right here at about 619, right? Right here at 619.11. So we want to see a break back above 622 to get us moving back upward. This was a solid sell off to what we saw, right? Even here as well with the QQQ, we pull back down to 550. So I know with Trump, the games, back to Trump for a second, the games that he plays, he gets the market riled up here for a second, and then things come back down to reality, and then ultimately we see a movement back upwards, right? So if I'm looking at the QQQ right now, I'm looking and saying, okay, as long as we can hold here at 550 and get back above 555, we can honestly go right back and trade at 557. So I know Apple pulled back a little bit today. We also as well had ticker Meta, which started off the day well, but didn't break over this 724. So got rejected here. So we need to see some more solid volume come in to be able to push prices up. So the thought process is the stock market ready to crack? Right? Are we going to go ahead and trade at 630, or are we going to pull down to 610? That's the question on the street right now, right? Does the SPY go to 630, or does the SPY go back to 610, right? 610, 611, or do we actually crack and break above this 626? A lot is going to have to do with earnings, right? So you see at the back half of the title, right? You see that word earnings breakdown. So a great resource for you as an individual to use, in addition to you can use Yahoo Finance, is going to be earnings whispers, right? So you have your earnings calendar, right? Earningswhisper.com. This is how you're able to really keep and stay abreast, so you can follow them as well. Here you do have your you can sign in and create an account. At the top here will tell you the next upcoming earnings that are, pretty prominent and getting ready to happen. Of course, we have Netflix and Tesla which always kick off our bigger tech names. You have Delta, which is going to report. So this kind of gives you some of the names that are upcoming. And then you also have your calendar. So you can stay abreast to, all the names that are getting ready to report here on the 16th, right? You can see here right now the names that are getting ready to report here on the 16th, your 16th and 17th. So that's next week. Next week will be all about the banks realistically. So you will have Netflix. Funny enough, you do have IKBR, right, which is going to go ahead and report as well. So you do have those. This is a good resource for you to use to kind of keep track, calendar wise, you to be able to stay up to date with what's exactly taking place and happening. So um, calendar here, you can actually, like I said, you can keep and stay abreast. In addition to that, any stock that you're typically following, it will let you know here as well on Yahoo Finance. So we'll just type in GS here for a second. We'll use Goldman Sachs. We can see that their earnings date is going to be on July 16th, 2025. So for the next movement wise, a lot has to do with the way earnings are going to come out and actually be reported. So we have to think, I mean, the market for the past 3 months has been running pretty hot. So we're going to have to see blowout reports, right? I want you guys to put in the chat blowout. I want you guys to write that down and put that in the chat. Blowout. That is what we're going to have to see is a blowout, right? You're going to have to see those blowout reports pretty much here this week, next week, and the rest of the month is we are going to have to see a blowout report. So very, very, like I said, very, 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 very important that people do take this note down is because there's a level of high expectations, right? When expectations are high, this is ultimately what happens, right? Everyone's thinking, hey, the market is, like we said, been firing on all cylinders. The expectations coming into this week, coming into this earnings, is that a pretty premium, right? It's not, the expectations are not low going into this week, just the reality. Expectations are actually pretty high, right? So expectations are high going into this earnings season. The expectations, like we said, are not low. The expectations are high. So these expectations are going to have to get met. And we're going to have to see, like I said, we're going to have to see a nice move, like we said here, upward for these expectations to actually get hit. All right. So my thought process is going into earnings, names like Meta Platforms, Google, right, start to pop up. The banks will kick us off. Are they going to exceed expectations? That's what we need. We need an exceed. We need prices to. In order for prices to continue to go up, we're going to need these earnings to come in properly, right? And honestly, really blow things out. Just because everything is still trading at a premium, there's not many discounts, right? So for CrowdStrike, for AMD, Apple, even we know Apple has had its woes. They're gonna need a wow factor. It's just what it takes in this business. We've thought about uh, to touch and discuss about one company in particular. Let's talk Tesla. So I want to talk Tesla and I want to kind of do a little bit of foreshadowing real quick. I want to talk Tesla and TSLL. So a lot of times people ask me, hey, when's the best time to buy these 2x levered ETFs? And one of the main things that I do discuss and say is when it comes to these 2x levered ETFs, we want to try to get them at really extreme lows, right? We want to try to get them at extreme lows. Stock price wise, um, Tesla at about 200 to 230 is very attractive. 200 to 230 is very attractive for Tesla. So to me, you want to be able to get TSLL honestly at about $6 to $7. $6 to $7 is an attractive point for this investment, right? For TSLL, put that on your notes. $6 to $7 is going to be your very attractive level where you'd be willing to pay for this particular investment. Right there at about $6 to $7. At that point, that's your buy-in level. That's where you're looking to actually go in and pick up your TSLL, right? That's where you want to buy TSLL at. That's where price is pretty attractive for you. That's what that's what you where you'll be willing to pay and step into that name. Other than that, you're not really that excited. You're not really that intrigued specifically about this name unless you're getting it once again at about $6 to $7. That is your attractive level here for TSLL. Um, Tesla, like we said, 220 to 230. So if Elon, he continues to make his new political party, piss investors off, it opens up a great buying opportunity. So, like I always say, I want you to look at things from both sides of the lens. Some people can see Tesla dropping and saying, "Hey, it's dropping." Elon just doesn't never act right. But investors will try to get this stock price at the best they can. They're going to try to grab this stock at the best price they can. So $6 to $7 for if you're looking at the 2x levered ETF has kind of been the sweet spot. If you've been able to get it there, it's like once again made a ton of sense for you from a longer term investor perspective. So that's the sweet spot there for TSLL. To talk about Tesla, everyone put the word breakout. Breakout. I want you to put this word in breakout. We're on the tube tonight, so we're going to anytime we step on the tube, we try to be a bit generous and point some things out for people. So if you're looking at the tube and you're here, make sure you guys are sharing this live. If this is your first time tapping in with us here on the YouTube tonight, we'll continue to be on the YouTube on a regular basis. This just helps us be able to document everything a lot easier when we do go public on public platforms. Obviously, some things can get lost on IG. So YouTube helps us document it more. The reason why I said breakout is because there is a stock particularly that's about to be on a breakout. And that stock is Boeing, ticker BA. This may be ready to blow tomorrow, baby. This may be ready to blow tomorrow. Stock is breaking out above 215 today. Broke out above 215 and is right here at 218.63. You see these next levels, 223.50, and then after that, 231. So the DIA stock, ticker Boeing, breakout. So we're on a breakout trade here on ticker BA. So if you're in that channel and you're in my community, be on the lookout for Boeing. We're gonna have something for them as well too. So I know some people raised cash today on Uber, so you got a little bit of free cash. Still waiting on a couple other positions, but we do have, like I said, here this breakout with Boeing was up $2 and change today. We would like to see stock price move up a bit more. Right. So for ticker BA, 223.50, after that, 231.18. Right. So ticker BA, take those notes down. If you go long on this position with me, we're going to be looking at October 17th. Realistically, the lowest I would say, shortest amount of time would be September 19th, 2025. So do hear me carefully. And I'll make sure that this note comes out. But we're going to be looking at like a 205. And I would say anywhere between 200 to 210. Maybe a 210 would probably be best. Like 210 probably be best for most people. But we're looking at a $6 move, $6 to $13 move here, right? 224 to 231, right? $6 to $13 move here for ticker BA, right? So Boeing is looking like it's trying to get going. So Boeing, like we said, October 17th would be my preference. A 210 strike call option, October 17th, with a target of 223 and 231. So we do see a breakout here on ticker BA ahead of earnings, right? Earnings is get right around the corner. I did see a question about a ticker I don't mind talking about, OKLO. So really, we want to see OKLO. Can they actually get above, right? Keyword, can they actually get above? We saw here on Friday, June 27th. They briefly got above and broke out to like 61, 62. I was actually in a trade at that point on the name, and I just sold my calls on them. So they're kind of in a rough spot here where they're just really trading sideways back and forth. So OKLO doesn't really have a set and steady trend, right? It's just sitting here sideways right now. So you don't see really much um realistically here on this name is just kind of set in sideways. So 50 has kind of been the floor for this thing. So it has been able to bounce off of 50 a couple times. So that's been pretty good, right? When price has been able to break off that $50 level. Right. So those are my thoughts with OKLO. Next ticker we're going to talk about is SoFi. How many people are in here, took advantage of the SoFi call out that we had in January as well as December of last year? December of last year and as well January. How many people tapped into SoFi? Ticker SOFI. SoFi. How many people took advantage of SoFi? It's definitely been shooting. So, so, so. So what I want to showcase though is I really want to go to SoFi, and I want to talk about this 1976 level. So with SoFi, we had two targets really here at 22 and then as well 24, right? We were looking like for both of those levels. 24 could be a lot reasonable now. I mean, we know what happened in the beginning of the year with SoFi. Sold off just like any other stock. Came all the way down here. We dropped about 40, 50%. And then since then, the stock is up 100% from the low of April, right? So we've been watching this name and we've said, hey, for a while that this name is breaking out of the accumulation phase. So we're still very high on SoFi. $24, was always the target. Obviously, we got stalled out a little bit just because of how the year started. But SoFi is turning things around. We would like to see this break back above $20 here soon. And if we can see that with momentum, we'll be moving towards 22. So excited to see that to be moving up here to about $22. So SoFi, SoFi, SoFi. Those are my thoughts on this name. Next ticker we're gonna do is Dollar General. Been a minute since we talked about DG. Gotta talk about it. Gotta talk about it. Anybody like dollar store shopping? Anybody like to go to DG? Funny enough, after I finish this YouTube with you guys tonight, I'm about to step to DG for a second. DG, I want everybody to put DG in the chat. Yeah, I want everybody to put DG in the chat. Put DG. 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 Want y'all to drop DG. DG. Put that in the chat. All right, so here we go. Now, Dollar General, we know is not a high flyer, right? So Dollar General is not a high flyer. When we say it's not a high flyer, this is not a name that, just breaks out easily, right? So it does take some volume to come in. But if you're looking at DG, and we kept our eyes on this name, we got another breakout that's getting ready to occur. So with some strong volume, I think we should run this play back, right? I want to run Dollar General back. So the reason why I want to run Dollar General back is this break above 118.35 will send us up further. Kind of similar to Boeing, not quite the same play, but uh, definitely that is definitely, like I said, where I want to take a look at. So if you can get a movement here upward, This 118 break, I do like this. I'm gonna put a contract on DG tomorrow. I'll let you guys know exactly what contract I'm gonna grab. It won't be September. I'll let you actually guys know right now. I was watching the charts on this thing a little bit today earlier. So with DG, my thoughts is that realistically, I even want to put probably until early next year, January, just to get this thing time because I know already going into this play, just giving you guys some education here. There's some things when I'm looking on this bigger time frame, this weekly, this monthly time frame, a lot of times I don't expect the play to take off fast. You see, we don't even have October options for this name, which is fine. So that is gonna immediately make me say, I could go November, which would be 137 days. But if I look at the difference between, if you go to your options chain really quickly and you look at the difference, the 110 for November is about 12, 1300. But for January, it's actually about 1500. So it's not really that bad. I would go the January options because the November options are not as liquid. So in the classes, we speak about OI, open interest, and volume. And so our volume and our open interest is not as high as it should be for our particular um yeah, like it's not as high as it should be. So for DG, I would say when I am looking at Dollar General, 110 strike for January 2026. The 110 strike for January 2026 is where I am looking at to really go ahead and take advantage there. Yeah, so I like that specific position. 110 for January of 2026. That's what I like. 110. So that 110 level, if I can get that, 110 makes a ton of sense. Um, so 110 with a target, like I said, of about 127. Yeah, 127. So DG again is back here on this radar. We cleaned house the first time it consolidated. We took profit at about like 111. Some of us at 114, but it's just been trading sideways here. So not much. I think this is a really great time to enter DG, right? So for Dollar General, Dollar General, Dollar General. If you're liking this video and you're getting a lot of value, do put some comments in the chat for me as well as like the video here and then share this. That's how we can grow this YouTube thing out. And the more shares I get, it definitely does assist and help me, makes me come on. So these we're gonna document this. So we spoke on DG as well as ticker BA, DGBA. Of course, Snowflake is one that's already in cooking in the kitchen. So those were the main three plays that we spoke on here. We're gonna pause it here as far as plays wise. We'll keep everything else in house. But that's what we'll pause as far as free information that we will give here right now. So BA and Dollar General and Snowflake was already given a couple weeks back. So we're just updating on Snowflake. Right. So Snowflake was one that we gave. And we got some other plays that's doing pretty well within the community. Uber, we've been cooking in Uber for a while, right? So I know we talked about the breakout today that did take place today, but we've been sitting in Uber calls for a good period of time. That was just, a breakout that we could see coming a mile away. So we just wanted to tout it ahead of time. We do have some other things that we'll be cooking up here over the next couple of months. One of the things with the semiconductor space, just to highlight, semiconductor space, particularly SMH, man, we need to get above this 283. We can't afford to have any pullbacks too deep. Right? We need to see higher highs and higher lows. So I want to speak about this because Nvidia is right here at 160, and no real trade recommendations per se, but I want to speak about where we sit at, right? So Nvidia is sitting here pretty high. Obviously AMD was sitting there high, TSM. So the semiconductor industry is operating off a high where we do see that even the SOXL, the SOXL, I know a lot of people made good money on Soxo. Soxo's at about $25 here now. We're at this point where I definitely want people to consider, once again, to take profit. These are the type of investments in the trades that we've been able to capitalize off of. So, to go from $7 to almost peaking out at $28, $7 a share to go to 28 is almost literally a 400% return, right? So we've been cooking, 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 cooking. Things like Soxo has definitely, really went up. You'll see people come in that speak about Soxo and their returns. Um, I see Miss Michelle. What's going on, Miss Michelle? We got two Miss Michelles. We do have two Miss Michelles in the community. Right to educate. Ellie knows his stuff. For anyone taking a chance on these option, you did this on your own free will. Hey, you definitely right. You want to make sure you're keeping things into your parameters and analyzing, does your risk make sense? Does that risk make sense for you and your investment thesis? So always want to do your homework. You can take a look at these charts. Your charts are your tools. That's your roadmap. So she's 100% right. You do want to take trades as well, making sure you see both things, right? So you shouldn't just listen here and say, okay, I see what Ellie said. Now you should go be looking on your charts and say, okay, do I see the same thing he sees uh, on Dollar General? Do I see the same thing he sees on Boeing? Do I see these same concepts, right, that he's seeing? And does that give me an edge and a reason to actually take the trade? So the thing with the semiconductor space is, let's just be mindful. I mean, these stocks have ran it, incredibly here to this upside. We still think there's a lot of room to run. When we do take a look at the SMH ETF, we also look here from a monthly time frame perspective, and we do see a bull flag pattern here. I was speaking to the group a little bit earlier just about the bull flag pattern, and we are looking at the SPY and things expecting continue movement upward. But when we do look at SMH, there is some belief that, hey, is this thing actually done running yet? And if we can break out over this, there's a strong belief that we can see the SMH head towards 300, right? So the SMH heading towards 300 is not really far fetched. So SMH, the semiconductor ETF, once again, we are still very bullish, particularly on the SMH ETF. So we do, like we said, expect a lot of upside with the semiconductor names going into next year. So we do anticipate the semiconductor names continuing to push higher. We are not bearish on these names as of now. We still are expecting these names to continue to push higher, right? So continue to stay focused, locked in, stay steadfast, specifically with these names. Like we said, we're expecting SMH to continue to kick up. We're expecting like we said, these names to continue to be on the breakout. So when it pertains to a couple of things here, right? Semiconductor names we're continue to be high on them. We believe NVIDIA, TSM, MU, um, AVGO, those four names itself. AMD, we're still high on, but we understand the risk that comes with them with their valuation. We're still high on AVGO. I mean, you look at this chart, I mean, AVGO, nonstop action, higher highs and higher lows. So we're still very bullish on AVGO, ticker Broadcom, right? For this ticker. So we still like Broadcom a lot. We think AVGO will be trading in the 300 range sooner rather than later. So this is a name that continues to eat. And the reason why is because its earnings continue to show that it becomes stronger and stronger. So we like AVGO a ton. We're going to take some questions here now. We just hit about 8:34. So the plan was to go ahead and start taking questions around the 40-minute mark. We just hit that mark here now. But let's get some questions, man. Let's get some questions. Take some of this stuff off the screen. We do have right? The CPI tomorrow morning, just as a heads up. So the CPI will come out tomorrow morning at 8:30. Excuse me, not tomorrow. I'm all of this, all of these dates were wrong. CPI comes out next week. I don't know why I was down here. So we won't have a CPI. CPI will come out next week, and the PPI will come out the following week. There's some issues with the schedule yesterday. So CPI will come out next Tuesday. Yep, next Tuesday. What do you think is the good way to learn chart patterns? I think honestly what I would start doing is honestly sometimes it can be easy to see chart patterns a lot easier on like the hour and a 30 minute. So if you know you need to kind of zoom in to see things, I would start there. Not to say that you can't look for the chart patterns on a bigger time frames. For one, the bigger time frames take a longer period of time for certain chart patterns to form. So you definitely you definitely have to kind of just continue to train your eyes. What I would do, I would dedicate 30 minutes to an hour, 2 to 3 days a week, 30 minutes to an hour just to review charts. Especially if you're a beginner. The only way to really get proficient at chart reading is you got to continue to get the reps in over and over and over again. So to me, that's the best way of being able to really analyze and learn these chart patterns is like it's like a word puzzle, right? Where you have to continue to find the new words. You have to be able to review your charts to continue to see the patterns. Okay, I see there's a double top here, or I see there's a double bottom, right? That's the only way that you're going to really start to see things because it is a language at the end of the day. So if you don't practice this language, how are you going to be able to grow? Right? So that would be my answer, my first part of my answer to that question, because it's a great question. Um, so it's a level of awareness that now you're creating. Okay, you're getting used to seeing. You got to train your eyes. Like that's the one thing I would say. You have to train your eyes. Right. The reason why most times when you see I may pull up a ticker, like even for example, we go back to Uber yesterday, right? Like this isn't something that I could do 7, 8 years ago. Just open up a chart and immediately know, okay, this is a bull flag, right? And then I see that, then boom, this breaks out. So like a lot of the positions that mainly all the positions that I'm giving you guys, right? Is some form of a high probability setup, right? We're looking for setups that are highly probable. Doesn't mean it's always going to work 100% of the time. But if you've been following here, you've been following my page, if you've been within the community, you see we're very accurate. We're not perfect, but we just focus on taking high probability setups. That's what we focus on. So these chart patterns, right? They give us, once again, they give us opportunity to be able to see movement to the upside. So these high probability setups are, like we said, very, very, very key to our development, right? These high probability setups are very, 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 very key to our development. So we try to find once again these high probability setups over, and over again. High probability setups here. 24/7, we're looking for some form of a high probability setup. So those are my thoughts there for you guys at this time. Any other questions from anybody? Questions, questions, questions. Any first timers? Is this your first time actually tapping in here on the YouTube with us or first time tapping in? Welcome in. I see a lot of familiar faces, which is a good thing. The last thing that I would say to answer Michelle's question is you got to be here, right? The difference between the people that's performing well is the people that continue to show up. So if you want to get good at this, you have to show up. I don't care about what no one's talking about. You got to show up and you got to be consistent. You have to be consistent. So you have to be consistent. You see the same way we on here every week. We run classes every single week, multiple times a week. That watch list is running every week. We're running classes multiple times a week. We're doing pop-up classes because this is how you have to be ingrained in this information, right? I'm scared to take time off because why? When I feel like when I take time off, you get a bit rusty. So this is a game that you got to stay, especially now with who we got in office. Tariff man was blowing. I was talking to a couple of people today. Tariff man was blowing your phone up from 12 to 4. Tariff man was active. So you don't got Sleepy Joe, where Joe is just doing what he needs to do, and boom, he's quiet. You got volatile Trump man, right? Tariff man. You get what I'm saying? So you got tariff man who at any given point in time, you don't know if he took his medicine, you don't know if he had his coffee. He's gonna come in and he's gonna, shake things up a bit. So tariff man, that's just what it is. 25% to you, 25% to you, 25% to you, 25% to you, 40% to you, right? You don't know how he's gonna show up for the day. So then that may send a SPY down. But then he says, oh, we're extending the deadline to August 1st. Market comes back up. So, like those games in between the actual game, right? Because those are games that are being played between the actual game. Is, you gotta, like I say, this is why you gotta be aware. This is not, I would say it's not an easy thing to really manage. It's not. But it's something that is doable, but it takes the right level of discipline and also patience. If you notice a lot of the people, you see a lot of if you frequent the lives, you'll see a lot of the people, the same people commenting, the same people asking questions, and the same people posting and having results. So that's the difference. You got to ask the right questions and you got to actually show up. So if you want to get results, you got to actually show up. Give a special shout out to a couple people here today. Give a shout out to Stacy. She showed up. She sat down, came in. She's new, right? She came in. She sat down with me for a few hours today, and she's trying to learn the information as much as she can. She's like, "Hey, on my off days, I'm gonna come tap in with you." I'm gonna give a special shout out to a couple other people I see here. Miss Lakita Jordan. I'm definitely gonna give a shout out to Miss Jordan. She's a straight shooter. She's coming in. I'm gonna give a shout out to both Miss Michelle's. You see both of them, right? Miss Michelle Right to Educate, and you see the other Miss Michelle as well, Miss Michelle Reed, right? So I'll give a shout out to both of them. They're here nonstop. Apex Capital doesn't miss a Zoom, doesn't miss a live, doesn't miss any class, right? So that's what it really takes, man. This is, like I said, this is not easy. These setups, we don't just come with them and just pull them out of nowhere. Now we're reviewing these charts. So just as a synopsis, we went over a lot of information here tonight, a lot of good stuff. Some things we'll follow up on. Uh, but yes, my overall thesis is that Trump will extend this deadline again, like he continues to do, and he's going to continue to milk the market. Next thing you know, the SPY be coming back up here above 626. The only way we're going back to 610 is if we break below 615. But I think as long as we get back above 622 and 623, we'll be good. Heading towards, 626, pushing higher. We got a bit of what we call on the hourly time frame. What pattern is this? What pattern is this on the hourly time frame, great people? What pattern is this that I'm about to draw? Oops. About to see who's been paying attention in class. We're about to see who's been paying attention in class. About to see who's been paying attention. Falling wedge, Miss Denise Gilmore. Can't forget her. She don't never miss class. Y'all see her all the time. Falling wedge here on the hourly. Falling wedge. There we go. There we go. I see the great people. Cleve, Mr. Moore. Yep. I see you guys. I see you. I see the other queen. Sir, I see everyone that put in yep. Falling wedge, Miss Michelle. Falling wedge, yep. So you got a falling wedge here on the hourly time frame on the spot. Break out of this falling wedge, you'll be pushing right back upwards. Yep, it's all good. You got it right. Falling wedge. Here on the QQQ. Same thing. Same thing here on the Qs. Falling wedge here on the hourly. What's the most common chart pattern, people? What's the most common chart pattern? Jason, what's going on? What's going on, Jason? What's the most common chart pattern? Great people. See who's listening. So let's see. Let's see. Wedges. Wedges. Yep. Wedges. Wedges are the most common chart patterns, great people. Falling wedges and rising wedges are the most common chart patterns. Channing Range, had the pleasure to sit down with Channing, Miss Michelle. So I had the opportunity to meet a few actually more than quite a bit of people actually in Miami last week. So it was a pleasure to connect with some of you guys. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you guys. Cleve. Give a special shout out to Cleve. So the six patterns that we always look for is what? Double tops, double bottoms, falling wedges, rising wedges, right? We look for bull flags and bear flags. Those are pretty much our go-tos, our six go-tos. We do look for inverse head and shoulders as well too. Those do take a little bit more time to form, just depending on what time frame you are looking at. But those are our six main go-to ones, right? That we do try to look for. So watch this QQQ back above 553 as well as 555. So you can go ahead and mark that off. If we break above, just so you know, if we do break above that level, we will see some movement here to this upside. So do watch that 555 level. So make sure you're playing around with your trading view, staying abreast to all this good news. You got earnings. Earnings is coming up here. So earnings is here, right here on time. Uh, one to watch tomorrow, guys. We already locked in on the longer term trade on Snowflake. So for my day traders, though, my day traders, please pay attention. For my people that want to day trade, we're already locked in on the contract for Snow for October 17th and so forth and all of that good stuff. But for my day traders, watch Snow tomorrow. I'm saying this now, just like I did with Uber. Did not tell you that Uber what would happen. I'm telling you here now. Please pay attention to Snowflake. If we can get above this 226, we will be probably trying to push to 230. Maybe it may not be exactly tomorrow, but the next green day on this market, Snowflake will be heading towards 230. So I'm telling you here now, just like I did with Uber, right? When I'm telling you volume wise, where I'm paying attention and the volume is increasing, look here right around 14 to 1500 hours today, that volume started to increase. Pay attention. In the afternoon, when the market was actually dropping, pay attention, right? Pay attention. When the market was actually dropping, Snowflake was on a rise. We called that relative strength. So some notes for you to take here is when the market is down, right? When the market is red for the day, but there are tickers that are going green. That means that ticker had some relative strength. So that's one key lesson that I want you to get out of tonight is that when we do see our tickers that are green on a red day, it means that those tickers had relative strength, right? Relative strength. So, relative strength, great people. That's what I want you to leave with tonight. I appreciate everybody for being here. Continue to share this video. This thing will be up here, and stay abreast. You never know when we're going to hop back on YouTube. For my mentees tomorrow, your boy is about to go to bed. He's about to knock out because guess what? 7 a.m. 7 a.m., guys. 7 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to be online. So 7 a.m. for my mentees, go ahead and be looking for that code here in this mentee convo floor. But we will be live tomorrow at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Yeah, you can catch that replay. We got your replays loaded. If you are in a mentorship and you missed today's call, the recording is right here for you. And let me fix this. This today is not 7-6, it is 7-7. There we go. So it is 7-7. But the replay is right there in the live trading, right there in the live trading one. So we will be there. But yep, that's for all my mentees. We will be on at 7 a.m. sharp. And we're gonna get busy. So we'll see what these futures do for tonight. We see so far. Just to take you back to Yahoo Finance home. See the futures right now. We got the NASDAQ futures slightly up. S&P futures are down about -4 points. So the futures are pretty much flat. I like to see a green bean by the morning. Green bean us by the morning. Like to see a green bean. So I appreciate y'all. Um, Thank you guys for making tonight a great one. And we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. You guys, and we'll wrap up. Drop those comments in the chat. Drop those fires in the chat, guys. Drop those comments in the chat. Drop that BWSO. Share this video with one family member tonight. Share this video with one family member. If you're new on here and you had not joined the community, send me that BWSO acronym right now. Send that to my DM on IG. So if you're new on here and you hadn't joined the community or you've been trying to figure out how to do so, send that DM with the word BWSO. So drop that BWSO in the chat. But 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Appreciate that, Miss Michelle. Yep, like I said, share this with one family member tonight and tell them to watch this video in its entirety. So 7 a.m. tomorrow, great people. Another day, another opportunity. Make sure, you never know. We've got some sponsorships in play. Glad to get sponsored by this bad boy right here. Eternal Water. Eternal Water. We're gonna have to get it sponsored. Make sure you guys are drinking your water and taking care of yourself. Hydration. Hydration. Super, super, super duper important. It's hot. It's like 95, 96, 97 degrees here, on a day by day basis here in Atlanta. Make sure you are drinking your water, taking care of your body and your health. We currently have a 60. We're doing 60 miles this month in July. So it's after the 4th now. It's here July 7th. So looking to get busy some more, knock out the rest of these miles, man. So, yep, yep. Sponsor this. Yeah, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah. We're gonna have to get them to sponsor for sure. Next mentee link up. I'll leave you guys with this one and then we'll wrap up. October 19th to the 22nd here in Atlanta. So October 19th to the 22nd. Right. So October 19th to the 22nd. Live in ATL. We are going to have our next mentee link up. We continue to do these. And we're gonna do them every 3 to 6 months. Just depending on how my schedule is. But every 3 to 6 months is the aim. The one in February, we're gonna plan it more than likely probably February, is we're gonna do it somewhere else though. We're gonna do it somewhere else. We'll bring it back to the A, but definitely looking to take this show as well on the road too, a couple times, sometimes from here, for different times, for different people, bring it to different cities. So experience some different things. So experiences are magical. We're definitely going to do something on the West Coast as well too. I know a lot of West Coast people have been asking. I'm an East Coast guy just by nature, but there's a lot of love on the West Coast. A lot of people in the program who live on the West Coast and have shown love in the program for a long period of time. So we're going to do something on the West Coast as well this year. So, man, I appreciate y'all. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. Make sure, like I said, to share, like this video, and do review it for my mentee, 7 a.m. tomorrow. And I did drop a lot of PDFs in the community today. So I did drop a lot of information in the community today. So make sure you guys read those at your best convenience. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for your time. Signing off. Peace out.